Hello, this is Mochomain and welcome to episode 5 of EvE Online for Casual Gamer. Today I'll be talking about exploration. While I'm mining, I will show you my first room in high sec with a magnet. So, while I was moving out to factional warfare in my era, I took with me a magnet with two fits. One for high sec and one for wormholes. So I watched a bunch of guide before doing this, so I was a little bit prepared and I already knew how to scan stuff. So I explained the fit. I have two turrets. Well, first, for exploration you need a probe launcher to scan the system and find sites. And when you find relic and data sites, you need a relic analyzer and a data analyzer. I also had rigs for them. Each of the rigs are giving 5 HP to your virus during the minigame. I had one rig for the data analyzer and one rig for the relic analyzer. And the rest of the slots I put some turrets and a bit of tank. My plan was to, because I already knew scanning was kind of boring, so my plan was to go into belt and kill rats while I was doing it to make a little bit more money. Here's the first site I found, directly moving out of the station. The first signature I was scanning was a relic site, I think, this one. And I was expecting good amount of money, because when you watch on the net exploration, EvE Online, the videos you find are all about you're gonna be rich if you do exploration, like flex your account with exploration, things like that. And with this site I made, I don't know, 100k, something like this, so not very exciting. But well, it was only the first one, so I continued scanning a bunch of systems, roaming around a bit at random in ISEC, and I was killing rats while doing it, using my drones and my trains. And it's only 20 minutes later that I found another site. So in ISEC you don't find a lot of sites, people are moving around and doing exploration too, so don't expect to find a lot of sites. But you can find some. And this one is a lesser central covert research facility. When I went to it, in a second, yeah, you get this warning. And previously what I had was the icon of the relic analyzer, because you need one, so they're remembering you need to have the module with you to do the site. But this one, it was warning, and I found it a little bit strange, but well, I mean, I went to the site and did it. The minigame, by the way, is quite easy in HiSec, so that's like a good training ground. And here I'm finding 9 million in loot, and I'm really happy. Like, this is the money I was expecting. I was even expecting less in HiSec. Yeah, I was very excited. And then everything exploded, rats are showing up, and I'm dead. And I don't understand why at the time. What I did was get back. Well, first I tried to get my reg back to see if I could find the 9 millions I had from the first game of the site, but I couldn't. There was nothing left on my rig. So I went back to Amar, get a new ship, because I only took one with me while moving all my stuff to my Hera, and well, the site disappeared. So I did some research on the net about this, and that seems to be what they call ghost sites, and you have a limited amount of time to do them. When the time is up, you die. Pirates shows up, or everything explodes and you basically die. So I found some other of these sites later, and what I do is I go into them, I do one canister, the minigame once, and then I leave. and I don't think I have like the knowledge of the minigame to do all of them very fast, and maybe I don't have the skills to do it. Anyway, I went back, fitted another ship. Like I said, what I did was I removed the rigs I had for the minigame because I figured they're not that important. 5 HP is not that great in the minigame, and the minigame was easy, at least in ISEC. And scanning was awful, and at one time I couldn't scan one site. It was a level 4 site, and my probe couldn't get me the 100% scan strength on it to be able to go there. So I figured I don't want to miss any site, so I put it rigs to increase the strength, the scan strength of the probe. And I went back where I was, and there's a system, which is a lone low sec system in the middle of high sec, and I went there, and that's what you're seeing here. There was a lot of signatures. I was quite happy about it. The only problem is, to scan all of this, you need a lot of time, and maybe I could have gone to asteroid belts and kill rats, but I was afraid people were going to be there, and rats are stronger in low sec. So what I did was I did some save, and I moved from save to save, and I proceed to scan every signature. Problem is, it was boring. Like, doing all of these took me a full hour inside the system, scanning everything down and doing, I don't remember exactly, 3 or 4 sites. So yeah, while I was doing the minigame, I was scanning a bit to gain a little bit of time, but still, like, when you scan, you're watching the blue line going from left to right, and it's not very interesting. Minigame is nice though. In low sec, it was quite harder than what it was in high sec. I only did 4 in high sec at this moment, but later I did a bunch of them, and in high sec they're not very challenging. Like, it's nice to get the hang of it, but when you kind of know how it's working, and like, because I watched some guides, there's one about the rule of 6 that if you do exploration you should watch, because it's a great help for the minigame. Anyway, I was quite happy about the minigame, but at the end of the hour I was kind of annoyed, because I went into this system and I saw it as a great opportunity. Like, a lot of signatures, some data sites, and I was like, okay, maybe I won't be that lucky later. And in fact I wasn't, because I went back into this system like a week or 2 later, and I found 3 or 4 signatures. So it's really based on luck, and when you get this opportunity you want to get the money from it, and you want to do the minigame, because the minigame is nice. Problem is, it was late, I needed to go to bed, and I didn't, because I wanted money, I wanted to make the most out of this opportunity, and I made quite a lot of money. 17 million, I think, from just this system. So in a little bit less than an hour, I made 17 million, which for me at the time was great. Like, episode 2 is about mining and level 1 mission, and I'm trying to see if I can get 2 million per hour. Here it's 17 million per hour, if you find the right opportunity. But in the end, I spent 2 hours and a half, and yeah, I got a lot of money from it. But 1 hour and a half was about going into high sec, not finding anything, dying. Well, it was nice to die. Like, I learned, I was excited, it was okay, but then I had to get back to Amara to get new ship. I was not very happy about this game session, because the mechanic of scanning is kind of annoying. But I'll get to that later. And also, you find a lot of sites, like combat sites, and you're not able to do them with this ship, at least That's what I thought at the time. Anyway, like every guide, they tell you to go into wormholes and make a lot of money. So that's what I tried to do. Not on this day, but another time. And the feat I took there was a little bit different because I wasn't expecting to be able to fight anything. So yeah, okay. It's hidden now. I have the core probe and the two analyzers. I have a micro warp drive now. I had an afterburner before to speed tank the rats. Now I have an afterburner to be able to escape from a camp in the wormhole or to go from can to can faster. And I have a bunch of nanofiber internal structures because I don't need a tank if I'm not fighting, so it's to like first be faster but also to be able to escape and to align faster if someone comes into my sight. And I have two salvagers. Like if a fight happens on a wormhole, there might be wrecks and I'll be able to salvage them. Like I don't have any needs for the high slots, so like I could had opportunities with this. Well, anyway, I didn't. I went to the site, I scanned down and find, I think it's a data site. So this is my first site. And this wormhole has a bunch of signatures. They have a lot of signature, more often than not, because I did this quite a lot of time since then. And like the minigame is pretty hard. I fail quite often, but the reward is nice. Like this scan is empty, this can happen, but this is the first site, and if I go to the last canister, I open it, and I get 83 million worth of loot. And this is my first site, so this is definitely beginner's luck, because it happened to me only once. I get 20-30 million from a site often in wormholes, but not 80 million. Anyway, I did 3 sites in this wormhole and I went back with maybe 130 million in total, and I was very excited. It was my first time to wormhole, like with this character. I did wormholes way back when I was playing. I did, like, I tried. But I tried to do the combat site, data site. I wasn't interested in them. Mostly I died from people living there. Anyway, that's not the matter here. So I was very excited about this wormhole and I tried it again, like the next day. And I found another wormhole and I scanned down completely. There were some data sites, but I couldn't do them. And that's because some of the data sites are sleeper sites and there are rats in them, and I can't do them with the magnet, and I probably can't do them with any ships I have available to. And I ended up with some wormholes where I couldn't find any sites, and after 1 hour and a half of scanning, I finally find a site, and I'm doing it and I'm getting 20 million, and I was disappointed by it. And if I'm thinking about it, like after the fact, problem is scanning the system is annoying. I'm not scanning that fast with this ship, even though I have all the skills maxed for my alpha character. And the process is boring of finding site. I like the minigame. Sometimes I'm just feeling like it. Like I want to do the minigame. The minigame is Isaac. It's too easy, so I have to go into wormholes, and like I'm making more money, so it's better. But what was pushing me at that time to go into wormholes and scan them for an hour was the reward. And not like I don't really care about the money, but it gives you a sense of accomplishment. And this is a trap, the trap of exploration. So yeah, I think you need to find other ways to do the minigame if you like it than going to wormholes. Because first you have to find a wormhole, Then you have to scan it down, and there are a lot of signatures and a lot of useless signatures, like guest sites or every data and relic site that you can't do. And then you don't find anything, so you go into another wormhole and you find a site and you have to get back. And while doing some research, in fact, the data and relic sites you can do in wormholes are sites from nullsec. So in nullsec you can do all the data and relic sites. So I found, I don't have any footage about it, but I found several wormholes leading to nullsec, and I went there, and yeah, it felt like I had more stuff to do while scanning. Like, maybe it was because it was new, but you have to find safes, and you have gates, and you need safes around gates to check if they are camped or not. So while I was scanning, I had stuff to do, and it was less boring. And maybe I had more sites, but maybe not more sites, but the percentage of sites I was scanning, more of them were doable by me. Maybe it's not true. I'm not sure about it, because there are combat sites in nullsec. You find wormholes that you don't care about. So in the end, maybe it's the same, but it felt like it was better, and I was happier doing it this way. The problem is, I cannot let my character in nullsec. Like, if I end my game session in nullsec, the wormhole that lead back to my home might not be there anymore, and I'll be stuck there. And I want to do factional warfare, I want to do PvE, I want to try stuff in the game. I don't want to have my character lost in nullsec. Maybe if I had a jump clone I could, but even then I have to find a wormhole that leads to nullsec. Nullsec with a station I can dock in, and I'm not sure there are many nullsec systems like this. Maybe, but probably not. So what I'm thinking is, to do this, you need an alt. And I mean, if you're playing with an alpha account for free, you have 3 characters available, and maybe in 1 or 2 weeks of training you can get all the skills you need to get there, scan down sites, and do them. And you don't have to get back home, because this is an alt dedicated to exploration. So you won't get the reward from what you're doing, like the money, right now. Maybe you won't ever get it, because you'll probably die in nullsec, but this is exciting also, so this is kind of good. And you can go, like, log onto your character in nullsec, scan 1 or 2 signatures. Maybe if you're lucky you'll get a site. You'll be able to do the minigame, and I found that the minigame is nice, but once you've done it 5-6 times, you want to do something else. And I found that it's nice to have a character that gives you access to this content of the game quickly, which is not the case with my main character, because I need to find wormholes, I need to scan down a whole bunch of system to find wormholes leading to nullsec. So that may be something I'll try later. I still have my main character, which is alpha. He has all the skills I need, so maybe I'll try it later. Do it like this. I log him in. I first have to find a route to nullsec, but that shouldn't be a problem. Like, in 1 or 2 hours I should be able to do this, because you'll find wormholes leading there. Like, if you try, you go into a wormhole, you scan the system, you check every wormholes, you go into them, and you're searching for a nullsec wormhole. I'm pretty sure I can do it. And once he's there, you log in, you do a site, you log out. The guy might be in a station, might be in space, you don't care. When you feel you have enough money, you'll have to find a way home, and this might be a bit more difficult. But maybe that's something you can do, like when your cargo hold is half full, half empty, you start checking different wormholes, and I think there are sites which give you information about one wormhole, if it leads to high sec or not. Like their notion of static wormholes, I don't understand everything yet, but when you enter a wormhole, you get the ID of the wormhole system, and you can know if you're guaranteed to have a signature that leads to a high sec or not. So maybe there are options like this. You might not get any money from doing this, but you'll have access, I think, to more interesting minigame, and you'll be able to do them quite easily, or quite quickly, I should say. And that's it for relic and data sites. But there are other signatures you can find, which are combat sites, like the desolate site that I'm doing here. So I scanned the site with the magnet, and I went and brought back my Punisher, my PvE Punisher, to go into it and see what was in them. So they're like big anomalies. You have a little bit more NPCs, and they're maybe a little bit tougher than like this desolate site is kind of the level of a refuge if I compare to anomalies. So no real difficulty, you can trigger the groups one by one and they end up all going on you, or not, like it depends, just have to be careful. And so I grinded down this site. While I was doing it, I was trying to scan down some ventures, NPC ventures in the system, but that's not the matter. That's just to explain what you see on the screen. And once I killed, it's not the last NPC, it's the last of a specific wave, a message appeared. Mare Sargasson. And like, the text doesn't matter. Thing is, this is an escalation. And this is what I was searching for until now with cosmic anomalies. And I did some research, and you have very few odds of getting an escalation through the cosmic anomalies. And when you get one, it's in fact a combat site that you get. So you're better off scanning the system than fighting the combat site directly. And the combat site have a greater chance of getting you an escalation, which would be a stronger data site that can escalate again. So I was pretty excited by this, and first let's go to the end of this combat site to see the loot. You have one enemy that drops stuff, which has a different name, and here it's drone synaptic. It's not very valuable, but sometime you get like 10 or 15 million worth of loot from this site, so it might be an interesting thing to do in high sec. You won't make as much money as what you're making in wormholes with relic and data sites, but it's kind of nice if you can get loot most of the time with this site. So about the escalation. The escalation is a combat site that is specific to you, and it can be as far as 9 jumps away. In this case I had to cross all the faction war zone to get there, and it was in Galante space. So I went there, and when I jumped into the system, a message appeared. Enemies of the Galante Federation are not welcome here. You will have but a few seconds to flee before we destroy your ship, Mortal May. I'd gone a long way to get there, so I went to it. I tried to leave the factional warfare, but I couldn't because I wasn't into a station, and I don't think I can dock here because I'm not welcome. So yeah, I went for the site. It's just a Punisher. It's worth nothing. It's not worth it wasn't worth it to get back. So I went into the site, and I was going to kill everything and do this like a regular anomaly, and suddenly I'm wet, so I'm not tanking that well, and I'm taking a lot of damage. My cap is going down quickly, but I think everything's okay, and suddenly I triggered something, more NPCs came, and my tank dropped very fast, and I lost my ship. So wasn't going to stop there. I didn't understood what happens at this moment. So I went back all the way to Amar to get my PvE cursor, the long range one, if I remember correctly. And I left Factional Warfare while I was there, and I went back, like through the lowsec and everything. So I went back into the system and went into the site, and I was focused on this time. Like, I wasn't being reckless. So as soon as I arrive on the site, I go away. I burn away to try and put some distance between the NPCs and me and diminish the damage I'll be taking. And quickly I noticed some of the frigates are going faster than other. They are on the front, and they are the one that are webbing me. So in this case, like, I'm used to doing PvE where you don't care. Like, the only thing that matters is how much DPS they're doing to you, and if you kite, you can lower the DPS. But right now, they're like, I wouldn't say they have a strategy, but they're kind of more smarter than they usually are. And well, as soon as you kill the webbing frigates, the site is easy again. But still, like, it makes me hope for better PvE. Maybe PvE you need to be in group to do. I know high-end PvE you need to be in group, but I'm not close to that. But maybe there are some corps that goes into lowsec and do this type of sites in group, and that would be nice to try something like this. So in this instance, I ran the site to the end without any difficulty. Once the webbers were gone, like, there's no real difficulty here. And you end the site with a boss. I would say, like, it's a destroyer that's worth 37,000 and it loots stuff. I think that's the only one who looted anything, but that's probably because it's a rogue drone site. And yeah, 15 million. So that's quite nice. And I was happy about it, like, that I found this escalation. The only problem is it was late again, and you have 24 hours to do your escalation. If you don't, you lose it. And it was late, and I knew I wouldn't be able to play on the morrow, so I wanted to do it, and I went to bed late again. That's kind of a problem. This is a strange mechanic. Like, maybe it's to stop from such an abuse, but for a casual gamer, the game is forcing you to play on the next day. It's very strange. At least it feels to me. So I wanted to try out more stuff about these combat sites and escalation. So because you need to scan down the signatures, I took my magnets and I refitted it. And this time I skilled some of the drone skill and I put some drone damage module on it, and I was trying to rely only on my drones. I have 2 salvagers just because, like, when you're doing a site, you scan down all the system, you have nothing to do except escaping from the NPCs. So I dive in and I try to salvage a bit. It's always a little bit more money. Here I'm doing a refuge, and it's kind of hard, but it's doable. Like, I thought this frigate wouldn't be able to do much, and I'm not even using the med slots because I have the analyzer modules. But you can do some sites. Like, I would say in anomalies, refuges are the more difficult you can do, but some combat sites you can do without any problem. It might be long, so that's kind of a problem, but you scan the system very fast with this. Here I'm doing a Sanchas Command Relay Outpost, which is a level 1 combat site, and like, it's doable. I have to focus because they're targeting my drones, and I'm losing a lot of time. I'm losing drones, a lot of them. I had to buy some more of them. And 1 hour and one warp out to station to repair later. I'm at the end of the site. There were 3 pockets, I think. So yeah, 1 hour to do one of the sites is way too long. So I had to think about something else, a way to do this site and to scan. And the answer was like not using a magnet. You lose on your scanning capabilities, but you gain a lot on your fighting capabilities. And the answer is the Dragoon. Why the Dragoon? Because it's a drone ship, so it doesn't use this high slot, so I don't lose anything if I put a corporal launcher. And because you're using drones, you just launch them and they'll do the work for you. If the site is easy, you don't even need, you just have to watch them a bit in case they're being shot. While they're fighting, you can scan and focus on what you're doing, and try to find some combat sites. And you have a lot more GPS with it than what you have with the magnets. Like if I watch the magnets, I have 42.6 DPS, and with this one I have 95.3, and that's only with drones because I can load stuff in the turrets, and it's 152. Like maybe multi-frequency is too much. 133 with the standard, and I have a lot more things with this. And I'm carrying in the cargo hold the data analyzer and a relic analyzer, so if I found a data site or a relic site and I feel like doing it, I can dock in a station and refit for it. I also have warp cost stabilizer, but I'll explain this why I have them later. And I discovered while using this ship that PvE could be like mining. You don't need to do anything. And because drones, like the way I did them in episode 2, I used turrets, and you have to activate your turrets on each and every one of the enemies. With this you don't. You just have to trigger your drones, so you target one enemy, you launch your drone at it, and every NPC that shoots you, the drones will kill him. So you just have to watch a little bit for your tank, but missions aren't hard, so you don't even really need it. And to showcase this, because I tried it after, here I'm doing a level 2 mission. I have access to them because I gained some faction standing with factional warfare, and I fitted a cruiser quickly to try and do them, and I figured maybe I can do them with my Dragoon. So I'm going to the site, I'm choosing an NPC to orbit, I activate my afterburner, I approach, and I'm starting to think about my fit. Like I was trying to see how much HP I would get from an auxiliary small repairer, and what kind of module I could use to simulate this in Python. Because sometimes I want to see what the resists are giving me in terms of HP. And that's what I'm doing. And when I'm close enough, I'm targeting one of the enemy, I'm launching my drones, and I'm doing something else. And the drones are doing the work. The way I'm doing this, I can see my tank, and I can mostly see my drones, but you see I'm losing one right now, and I'm not even focusing on it. I'm not seeing it. Oh, I'm seeing it right now. I'm trying to save it. And yeah, I did maybe 3 or 4 level 2 missions like this, and I didn't have any problem. And you see the site is almost done, and my tank didn't move at all. So yeah, and I don't even. I was using the turret in the end. Yeah, I was bored doing the fitting. In the end, either you loot the stuff and salvage it, or you don't. That's depending on how you feel. It's definitely worth it. Not worth it in terms of money, but I mean, you're here, money is here. You can get it if you're tired, or I don't know. So I played a bit, like this with this ship, in like doing anomalies, scanning systems, doing sometimes relic data sites. By the way, now that I've done the mini game quite a lot of time in wormholes, the high-sec mini game is not interesting anymore. Even with this ship that has absolutely no bonuses, I can do them without even trying, really. But the problem with this ship is I don't have any bonuses to scan strength, and while scanning a system, especially in high-sec, you don't have a lot of signatures because a lot of people are roaming around and doing what you're doing, really, but with better ships. I've seen a lot of Stratios on the site, apparently doing the same thing as me. And the Stratios is a very expensive ship, like almost 200 millions, and it's getting a bonus to drone, so they are exactly doing what I'm doing, but they have bonuses to scanner, to core probe, and to relic and data analyzer, which I don't. And like this, I think I can scan level 3 signatures, but level 4 I can't, and even level 3 are a bit hard. So now what I'm doing with this is I'm using Sister Score Scanner Probe, which represents in the 5 million that is costing this ship a lot of money. Like it's making almost 3 million of it, so more than half of it is the Scanner Probe. But I mean, you're in high sec, and it's kind of worth it if you want to focus on the site. And so I don't have it in footage, but I did exactly what I did with the magnet, but with this ship. And I found some combat sites, and that's where I don't remember if I was having good loot or not. But you don't find a lot of them. I did it on a Sunday afternoon, and a lot of people were doing it also, and the sites were not there. And when I had one scanned, when I went into it, either somebody was already doing it, or somebody came while I was in and was trying to steal the kills. So it's kind of hard. Maybe it depends on when you're doing them. Maybe during the week it's easier. I have to try it. But in the end, I found another desolate site. I did it way more easily with this ship than with the Punisher, and I had the escalation again. So I went there, I did the site, and the escalation triggered again and again and again. And I think I went to 5 times, and the last one it was in low sec. So I went there, I did the site, and it was the last site was very easy. And you approach a bunch of cargo container, and I was smelling a trap. Like, it was strange that it was that easy. And when you loot the first container, a bunch of NPCs arrives, so you start fighting again. But one of them was a cruiser that wrecked my tank, like in a few shots. So I had to warp out, and when I did, the escalation disappeared. Like in the agency, I couldn't find it anymore, and yeah, so I think it means I failed. Didn't get the loot, and yeah, I have to do it all over again, which is kind of a problem also, because you have to go along a lot of sites, a lot of systems to scan them down, find the site, the correct one, do them, and you need to trigger the escalation, which doesn't happen every time. I think it's 20 or 25% of the time. So I have yet to do the Mare Sargassum escalation again, but I'll try. I'll try later. So in the end, as a beginner, you can do this kind of method the guy in Stratios are doing, with of course less efficiency because you don't have the means to do as well as they're doing. I've been trying to find a cruiser fit to do them, but it seems that level 1 combat sites are for frigates only, so frigates and destroyer. So maybe I'll try to find a fit with a cursor, see if I can maximize my DPS and my tank. Because with this, I didn't have the bench, maybe more, I didn't have the tank to do the last site. of the escalation. But in the end, the problem I will always have is that I don't have any bonuses to scan strength, and that's a problem. Like, you're losing a lot of time. You're not really losing time because you're doing anomalies if you find them. Like, if you're going from belt to kill rats, it's not as lucrative. And yeah, because I'm not doing the anomalies for anything more than money now. I mean, I've done them quite a number of times, even dens. So, except if I find Forsaken or Forlorn Hideaways, I don't remember which one is harder. I don't have to think about it really. I know the sites, I know when they're hard, when I have to kite. So, yeah, I'm not doing it for the challenge anymore. But the combat site, like, not the combat site, but the escalation, I'm searching them for the challenge. So, I have two bonuses to show. The first one, I had to cross the low sec system to go to next escalation site. So I dropped everything I had in a station and I crossed the low sec. I did the site. You can see I got, maybe I did a bit more than this, than just the site, but I made quite a lot of loot from this. And on the way back, I'm crossing the low sec system, and I land on 4 Gnosis. And I don't know what Gnoses are, but I know I'm dead at this at this moment. Like, they're camping the gate, they'll lock me in a split second, and I'll die. I'm trying to see what the ship is doing, but anyway, like 4 battle cruisers, I can't fight them, I can't escape, and you see I'm locked instantly. So I'm trying to reapproach the gate after Burner Horn, but I'm stasis by 2 guys, and maybe more later. No, only 2 guys, okay. And my speed is less than 100 meters per second, so I can't do anything. Thankfully, I saved most of the loot I had on the other side of the system, and that's why I'm carrying the warp core stabilizer now. So before I cross a system like this, I put a bunch of warp core stabs, and I hope everything will be alright. But until now, I didn't find myself into such a situation again. I went into low sec again, but there wasn't anyone there. The last bonus, kind of bonus, I have to show, it's not really exploration, but that's something I was exploring. While doing the site, I've seen a bunch of ventures. I finally found a bunch of NPC ventures, and I was thinking, like, what are they doing here? If they're here, that's probably because you can kill them. So I wanted to try it, and I did. It's warning you what you're doing is dangerous, so yeah, the venture tank is pretty high and it escapes, which is a strange reaction for an NPC. And suddenly a bunch of frigates land on me. I'm targeted, I'm trying to get out, but I'm tackled. And they have an executioner, 2 executioner, a bunch of tormentor, and inquisitor is, I think, a logistic frigate to heal the other guy. So yeah, I died. I couldn't do anything. I don't know what you can get by killing the venture, but might be an interesting thing to do. I mean, I was fighting frigates. Probably if you're a gang of 5 or 6 people, you can do something. I don't know if it's worth it or not, but I'm very curious about it, and I'm looking forward to try this with people. I don't have any corp, but one day maybe I'll have one. So yeah, this is the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll do some more research on how I can adapt the search for combat site to my way of playing, and maybe I'll do another episode on exploration, but it will be a bit later. Until then, hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you next time.